Last September 21st, as the northern hemisphere tilted away from the sun, scientists reported with unprecedented alarm that the North Polar ice cap is, in their words, falling off a cliff. One study estimated that it could be completely gone during summer in less than 22 years. Another new study to be presented by U.S. Navy researchers later this week warns it could happen in as little as 7 years.
Well, it's been 7 years since Al Gore predicted that Arctic sea ice could vanish. But in fact, Arctic ice has hit its highest peak in years. Yet the mainstream media is still promoting Gore's environmental agenda. Sun News contributor Simon Kent joins us with more from London, UK. Simon, that's the thing about doomsday scenarios, is it's always a good idea to have them far enough into the distance that you'll never be around when they don't come true to be told, why did you get it so wrong? He's just been proved wrong, but I guess he doesn't care, does he?
No, you're quite right. If you're going to be a prognosticator, make sure your forecast is so far down the line, so far into the future, that no one will be ever around to call you to task and say, hold on, you got it wrong. And we look at all these forecasts about Arctic ice and listen to Al Gore and his hellfire and brimstone. We're all going to be ruined forecasts about climate. You've got a good example there. It's just not true. The science and the facts and the prognostications are just not meeting up.
You know, I want to show you a video montage from earlier this year when the latest round of studies predicted even crazier things from ice melting. Look at this from May. Take a look.
Two groups of scientists reported today, based on close and constant examination, large parts of the western Antarctica ice sheet appears to have collapsed. The area shown here in red, scientists say further degradation is almost certainly unstoppable.
Scientists warn that a large part of Antarctica is melting and cannot be stopped.
A 10-foot rise in sea level would submerge tunnels and subways here in Manhattan and parts of Queens and Brooklyn. But, Scott, it would also put the entire city of Miami Beach and much of South Florida underwater.
Simon, I can't believe that was actually presented as news, that there might be a 10-foot rise in the oceans. I mean, I guess if you got to keep ratcheting it up to keep people's attention once your last prediction got it so wrong.
Not only that, I think there are a lot of scientists who have a really vested interest in these scary outcomes because it guarantees more money flows into their pocket for more research and then more peer-reviewed papers, and then they get more research. And there's such a vast trail of people feeding off the whole global climate scare, and it's all built on modelled scientific work anyway. It's all built on the best guess information and people making a guess, and this is going to happen, you watch me. And then when it doesn't happen, they say, oh, but now we've changed the modelling, this is going to happen now. And as I said, it's all follow the money trail, and there's so many people feeding off this money trail from pockets of our viewers and your pocket and my pocket that goes to UN agencies, that sort of thing. It's never ending. Rather than run for the hills, they're all running for the gravy train.
That's a great point. Let me show you some images from the European Space Agency showing the growth of Arctic and Antarctic ice. This is on the North Pole over the last few years. I remember it was almost exactly 1 year ago, Simon, that I think it was an Australian professor chartered a boat called the Academic Shokalski to go down to the Antarctic to retrace the tracks of an explorer to show how much warmer things are now than a century ago. He got trapped in ice hundreds of kilometers away from where he wanted to go. That's how far out the ice was. He had to be rescued by not one, but two other icebreakers. A year ago, he went to prove global warming was happening. If it weren't for the Chinese and American icebreakers down there, he would have lost his own life. Those stories are buried, and we have the same fear-mongering I just showed you a moment ago. You explained it from the professor's side. There is money. There are research grants if you promote the theory of man-made global warming. But can you help me explain what Brian Williams' excuses and those other mainstream media excuses? They're not getting grants, surely, for being part of the mania. What's motivating reporters to turn a blind eye to how these theories are false?
Because it's a fashionable concern, because it's a fashionable concern of so many of the chattering classes, and they love to show their empathy and how much they care, and they care more than anyone else who dares to decry their theories, and it puts them in a position of assumed moral superiority. They care, Ezra. They care more than anyone else, and therefore we should feel their pain. We should enjoy their empathy, and we should look at those people going down to Antarctica, as you point out. I mean, they almost sank under the weight of their own hubris, their own assumptions that they could go down there and prove to the world that Antarctic ice was sinking when it was nothing of the sort. And then they had to be rescued from their own conceit by people from other nations, probably funded by taxpayers, who had to send icebreakers down to save them. How humiliating, and what a fitting epitaph for so many of the scientific people who seem to want to make a quid, make a few dollars out of scaring other people half to death.
You know, it's getting cold in Canada. It's probably cool in the UK too. But let me show you one of the most gorgeous places in the world, Lima, Peru. Everyone in the global warming industry is jetting to Lima, but we've got a little board of how much carbon dioxide they're all emitting flying down there. This is the new climate change conference that's going on right now. Just the construction, the jet fuel of 11,000 delegates, the local transportation has made this the most carbon emitting conference in United Nations climate change history. And the fact that it's in a gorgeous tropical beach in December, I'm sure that's a coincidence. What do you say about their hypocrisy? You talked about being crushed under their own hubris. I don't think these people are capable of shame. Last word to you, Simon.
No, they're not, because last time that conference was held, there was 9,000 people in Poland. This year in Lima, Peru, there's almost 10,000 people. They've got all the beach resort wear. They're all heading down there to talk their heads off. They never agree on anything, and then they go away, but the only thing they agree on is next year they're going to meet in Paris. Well, that's a hardship posting, isn't it? Maybe we should go there, Ezra, and go and report on it in Paris. Yeah. All these people talk all the time. They emit so much hot air and achieve nothing.
Paris, that sounds like a good investigative journalistic mission. We probably need a lot of staff to go check that one out. Simon, I hope you'll join me. Thanks for joining us today, my friend. More.